Hello, beautiful people. It is a glorious day, and I'm delighted to share it with you. To prepare for this week's layout, I've already pre-trimmed some of the photos and placed them on white 3x4 and 4x6 cardstock. And now I'm going to turn my attention to this big oops of mine. I printed these four photographs on my selfie, but I used a photography app, and when I printed it out, the sizing was all wrong. So in order to salvage the photograph, I'm going to trim each photograph down to just under 2-inch squares. And part of the reason I need to salvage them is that this doggone photography paper or photo paper is too freaking expensive. And so I am not trying to waste one single image. So I also want to include this AM routine phrase from the 4x6 Ali Edwards card. In the end, I don't think it's going to work, and so I just put it aside to use it another day. So I go to my 4x6 stash. Love this yeah card. Cannot wait to use it. But today is not the day, so I put it away. So trying to figure out what I want to do, and I decide that I'm going to be a little bit creative and pull out these Heidi Swap stencils. She had a bunch of them out, and then they were on clearance at Michael's, and clearance, that's like music to my ears. So I'm going to use this one. I kind of like the design. It feels like it would be appropriate to go with the running photographs that I'm going to layer on top. And I'm using this Dilutions paint. This particular one is called Squeezed Orange. Can you say delicious? I mean, just an unbelievably beautiful orange color. So I stepped away, dried it, and now I'm back, and I'm going to place the 3 photographs that I want to use on the 4x6 card. So I'm just going to kind of thumb through this random stash of chipboard embellishments and letters, and almost exclusively everything in this little container is from one of the Ali Edwards kits, and I've just kind of thrown them all in there together. Much easier for me to put my hands on than keeping everything with its monthly kit set. So at the moment, if you've watched the last 2 videos, I'm just really in love with these little glitter stickers, letters, and numbers from Michael's. It's their Recollections collection. Again, uber cheap, but I am liking them right now, and way less than thickers. So the size is just right, and I'm going to place them on the 3 little square photographs. And so the first one will say go. The second one, what will that say? Try. Ah, yes, try. So I am not a regular work outer. I know that's not a word, but we'll go with it. I call myself a seasonal jogger. When the weather's nice, I will jog, not run. And so I really want to be much more consistent about being healthy, about getting my sweat on. And so this particular 4x6 card is just kind of affirmation to myself that I need to be much more consistent so that I can be healthy forever. All right, so next up, this little 3x4 card, I put golf with those large white acrylic letters. In the end, you'll see me move them off. I thought that the golf letters competed with the yes. The yes is gray. It's from a old Studio Calico kit. Love the yes, but the golf, again, was competing with it. The 2 different fonts and colors, I don't know, it wasn't working for me. So I pulled that off, and I'm going to kind of play around a bit to see where I want to go next with this spread. So I pull out this Studio Calico label sheet. I have many of these. I don't know which month. I just kind of print them out every now and then. Sometimes I pre-cut some of them and put them in jars. This case, I just wanted this one. And so I'm just going to cut it right on the spot. And it says 100%. So my husband does not get to go play golf much, and shh, don't tell him, but he's not great. But he was happy to have a guy's day out, and I told him to send me a photo, which I do often. I'm like, send me a photo when he's out and about. So rather than use the big words, I'm going to go with something small here, using these small, I think these are Heidi Swap little letters. And so it'll say golf 100%. And then the bottom, I'm going to look for another little word, happiness. So I've got golf 100% happiness, which he says he totally enjoys, just kind of being out and relaxed and not stressed, and, chit-chatting it up with dude talk. So that one's good. Fairly simple, straightforward, and two little staples in the corner, in part to adhere it down, and in part because I like the way staples kind of create a simple embellishment as well. So this next photo with my son and his buddy walking home from the pool. My fascination with photographs from behind, and I'm not going to do much to it. In the end, I'm just going to stick this Ali Edwards chipboard embellishment down and call that one on the left done. Now I'm fussing around with this other photograph of my husband at Home Depot. I used the Collect app for this one and pre-journaled, but I wasn't loving the way it was looking. And so I cut off the pre-journaling and I trimmed down the photograph as well. But before I complete that, I want to go ahead and get my total journaling done. So I pull out the typewriter, journal on 2 tags, and then in addition, go ahead and complete my main journaling on a large 4x6 card. And again, nothing special this week, pretty generic. Kids did this, I did this, blah, 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 want to have a date with husband, So I end up cutting the bottom part of this little label off. That's an Ali Edwards embellishment or label. And I actually noticed after the fact that there is a spelling error, which absolutely drives me crazy, but not enough to change it. And so, it's okay. There are often spelling typos sometimes, particularly when I'm using a typewriter, but I'm just going to go with it. It's not that big of a deal, and I'm going to assume that my grandkids and great-grandkids will forgive me. So, finishing up this 3x4 card with my hubby at Home Depot. We have a new house project for the house, and so just took a quick photo of him. So now trying to figure out what I want to do next. So initially I thought that I would just use the entire white card for my kind of big journaling, but in the end, I determined that I want to trim that down a bit and actually place it on this larger Studio Calico card. And I think that the gray in that 4x6 card pairs nicely with the gray in the word yes. So I'm going to go with it. So now I feel like I need to add a little something something, and I have a bit of this label left over, and since I don't want to waste a doggone thing, I'm going to trim it and incorporate it into this 4x6 page, just like so, tucking it under the white card, but still I feel like it needs just a wee bit of something. Love though that pink, really, really want to use it. But I just can't find the right phrase that I think is appropriate with the photographs and the text. So keep looking, find one little phrase that I want to use, looking for something else. Nope, 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 nope. So I'm going to include this one little phrase that says put down roots, which I think works absolutely with my husband mowing the lawn. He has been babying our lawn. It's so lush and green, and he often teases me that he gets in more steps each week and beats me simply because he mows the lawn and trims everything down, and I just can't compete. Unless, of course, I run, which, as I've already stated, is far too infrequently. All right. And I use that little chipboard piece to place on the 4x6 card on the left, which I'm digging, and that says making it up as I go along, and that is so absolutely true. Still feel like I need to add a little bit more this and that before I can call this layout done. So I'm digging through, looking for something. And as you see, I haven't touched any of these items, so I'm literally opening them up right in front of you, but trying to push myself a little bit and use some elements, some embellishments that are not my kind of go-to. And I would encourage you to try that as well. I love having my go-to elements, but I also think it's fun to stretch a bit. So at this point, I also want to turn to my date slash title card. And actually only realized after the fact that I didn't even have my sandals on correctly. Like one of the big toe straps is not on. And that's hilarious to me. I think I was running out of the house, in the house, had my phone, and decided to take like a foot photo, which, whatever, kind of crazy and wonky. But then the fact that I didn't even have it on correctly and didn't even notice that until I was working on this layout. Insane. Okay. So now I want to use this tag and trying to determine kind of what letters I'm going to use to create the date. So thinking that these might work. I do love that blue, thinking that blue will tie nicely with the other blue letters words that I've already placed on the spread. It's week 23, so also pulling in some of these, I'm just going to call them the Michaels letters. Now going for the W and the K. I very rarely will spell week out, like, the whole thing with the two E's, because quite frankly, there are never enough E's in any package of letters that you purchase. And so I find, for me at least, it just makes sense to just do the WK and to hoard the E's for when I need to really spell out something much more significant. Just me. Okay, so I've decided that rather than have the little tag on the right hand side, I'm going to have it on the upper left hand side, which seems to have more kind of white space or dead space, if you will. And so that seems to work better, at least for me aesthetically. So now I'm trying to figure out where to place the dates. And I decided I'm going to put the dates on first, which will kind of help me with placement. And then I will put week 23 on top. And that way I know it fits. Otherwise, if I'd done the week 23 first, I might have left not enough space, an adequate amount of space to actually place the dates on the tag. Okay, so just going to pull out that tiny attacher again and adhere it or staple it, and that is done. So now I just need to pull out my I decided to use a brad. Again, sometimes I think it's really fun to challenge myself and to try an embellishment or technique that's not my go-to. And so in this case, incorporating a brad or using a brad to adhere this star is a little bit different for me. Usually it's some glue or it's my tiny attacher, but I've got a hoard of brads that I've collected over the last decade of scrapbooking. But this brad is fairly new. It's from an Allie Edwards kit. And so I'm going to go ahead and use that to attach this star to the 3x4 card. And just going to trim off the top of that star. And it's golden and done. So at this point, I'm trying to kind of take a step back and look at the layout and assess whether or not it's complete. And I feel like it's almost there, like 99.999% done, but it needs something. So I'm playing around and looking through these Tim Holtz words and phrase small talk collections, and I don't see anything in that I think will work well. And so thinking, pondering, problem solving, and since those letters are sitting right there, I decide that I'm going to pull them out one more time one of the things that I observed was that at the top of the spread, I've got the blue letters, numbers for the title date card, and toward the right of the spread, I've got the go, try, jog. And so the bottom of the spread doesn't have any blue to create balance, at least from my perspective. And so I'm going to go ahead and create a title for my journal card. So the title I come up with is In Review, which is pretty standard. And you can find that on almost any, prepared, 3x4 or 4x6 card. So I'm just going to create it myself this time. So I go ahead and do that. I get to the end of spelling out review and realize that I only have a large W left. So I swap out the small W that I use for the WK and pull down the small W and use it in review. Last moment of kind of panic, but I figured it out. And then just kind of getting that place just so that it's, relatively straight. And then there we go. I can finally, gotta dot the I's. Yes, gotta dot the I's. So this layout is done. And one other thing that I do is create a little pocket for a letter that my son's teacher gave him. It's really heartfelt. And so you'll see in 2 seconds this little pocket that I created with an envelope. So there you go. I so appreciate you stopping by. And I always say hugs, but I really mean it. We all need more hugs and love in this world. So much more love needed. I hope you are well and safe and finding joy today. Until next time, take care and hugs, and more hugs to you. Bye.